I welcome you all again my next video in quantum mechanics. Today I'll be discussing about the wave packets. So these wave packets, basically the concept has come from the wave particle duality. As you know that the de Broglie relation that lambda equal to h by p, the matter has the characteristics of the momentum, and at the same time it is also defined if it represents a wave, and that is being represented by the wavelength. So this relation, it describes the wave particle duality of the matter. As you know that the waves are spread all over the space, whereas the particles are localized. So single wave that would be inadequate for describing the real particle. So we have to introduce the concept of the wave packet, and this wave packet leads us to the fundamental principle, that is the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. This wave packet, it will leads us the new fundamental principle, that is Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Uncertainty principle. So firstly, we will discuss about this wave packet and how it leads us to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So the if a lambda equal to h by p, then we can write down del lambda by lambda, which is equal to del p by p minus small change in the value of the wavelength divided by the wavelength, then the negative of the small change in the value of the momentum divided by the momentum. And it says that if del p equal to 0, then it says that del lambda will also be 0. So we are required to represent a particle of definite momentum with a single wave of fixed wavelength. For a definite momentum, for a particle of definite momentum, we need a single wave of the fixed wavelength. However, a wave of the single wavelength and frequency is spread out in time and space, so it cannot be localized, so it cannot represent the uh, particle. So what is the solution? We associate some uncertainty with the momentum. So if we take del p is greater than 0, momentum associated with the particle is greater than 0, then del lambda is also 0, and it will be finite. So finite spread in the wavelength is allowed. Finite spread in wavelength is allowed. Finite spread in wavelength is allowed, which will be introduced to represent the particle. So finite spread in wavelength will be introduced to represent a particle. Let us take a simple example where the finite spread in wavelength is done, then how it forms the wave packet. So let us take two sinusoidal waves, psi 1 equal to a sine kx minus omega t, and we have another wave, that is a sine k plus del k into x minus omega plus delta omega into t. These are the two waves like this, and plus we are adding another waves like this. So two waves is being represented. like this. And when they superimpose, then it forms the wave like this. So if we take this envelope like this, so this is known as the wave packet. Wave packet. So two sinusoidal waves having the slightly different frequency and having the same amplitude, and they are superimposed with one another, they form the wave packet. So what is the mathematical expression? Psi equal to psi 1 plus psi 2. So we add these two using this formula sin C plus sin D. So we will be getting this 2a, then cos C plus D by 2. So it will be cos dk by 2 into x minus, it will be d omega by 2 into t into sine, and then kx minus omega t. So this is the modulating wave multiplied with this sine kx minus omega t. So this is the expression for the wave packet. So this wave packet is nothing, it is a group of waves. It is a group of waves and with slightly different frequency and wavelength. With slightly different frequency and the wavelength. Different frequency and wavelength. And when they interfere with one another, interfere with one another, then in such a manner that the amplitude of the wave is non-zero. Amplitude of the wave is non-zero at the neighborhood of the particle. At the neighborhood of the particle. So this is the definition of the wave packet, and this is the mathematical expression. So the wave packet has the different velocity from the waves that compose it, like that is known as the one velocity. The velocity with which each individual wave is moving, that is known as the phase velocity. And the velocity at which the wave packet is moving, that is known as the group velocity. So let us discuss what is the mathematical expression behind this phase velocity and the group velocity. So phase velocity, that is Vp, it is the ratio of the angular frequency and the wave vector. And if you multiply and this numerator and denominator by h omega by hk, so this is E by P, that is the energy by the momentum, that is the phase velocity, that is the velocity at which each wave is moving. So as you know that E equal to mc square, this is the relation between energy and mass, and P equal to momentum of the particle equal to mass into velocity. So if we put it here, so the phase velocity, it becomes mc square by mv. Mm cancel, so c square by v. Now if since v is less than c, so the denominator is smaller than this, so the denominator is smaller, so Bp will be larger. So as you know that no material particle in this universe can move with a speed greater than the speed of light. So therefore we come to the some entity which moves with the group velocity. So then what is the mathematical expression of the group velocity? So the group velocity Vg equal to d omega by dk, which is equal to, that is, dE by dP, because the omega by k equal to E by P, as we have determined in case of the phase velocity. So as you know that a special theory of the relativity, special theory of relativity, that E square equal to P square C square plus m0 square C to the power 4. This is the energy of the relativistic particle, that is the momentum of the particle, and this is the rest mass of the particle, c the speed of light. This relation we know. So this, from this we get the E equal to mc square and P equal to m into v, that is momentum of the particle, energy of the particle, and the momentum of the particle. So if you differentiate this with respect to P, so differentiating this with respect to P, we get 2E dE by dP, which is equal to 2P into C square. 2 get cancelled. So we get dE by dP, that is equal to PC square by E. So it is PC square or E equal to MC square. C square, so CC get cancelled. Now P equal to M into V divided by M, so it get cancelled. So dE by dP we get, which is equal to V, which is equal to V, and that is equal to group velocity. So Vg equal to, we get V. So this is the group velocity, that is the velocity of the wave packet, and that is the particle velocity. Therefore group velocity of the wave packet is nothing but it is the particle's velocity. So we construct a localized wave packet by superimposing the waves having the slightly different frequency and the wavelength, and that leads us to the uncertainty in its momentum and the wavelength. As you know that the moving particle is always associated with the wave packet, which suggests that there is a fundamental limit to the accuracy with which we can measure the particle's position and momentum. So what we get, if there is a there is a widening of the wave, then that is very easy to find out the wavelength of the particle or the momentum of the particle. If we narrow the wave packet, then it is easy to determine the position of the particle, but it is difficult to determine this wavelength of the momentum of the particle. So once we wide the wave packet and narrow in the wave packet, then there is an uncertainty in the position and as well as the momentum. So what do we get? The smaller the uncertainty in del x, that is the position, then of the particles, then the largest become uncertainty in the momentum. There is a uncertainty in the position of the particle is more, then uncertainty in the momentum of the particle will be less. If the uncertainty in the momentum of the particle is more, then uncertainty in the position of the particles will be less, and the product of these two, del x, uncertainty in the position multiplied with the uncertainty in the momentum, that is greater than equal to h. So from the wave packet we got the idea of the uncertainty about the position and uncertainty about the momentum, and we find these two variables, that is position and the momentum. These are known as the canonically conjugate variables. Canonically conjugate variables, and these two canonically conjugate variables, the uncertainty of the position and the momentum is greater than equal to h. So in the next class we will be discussing about the application of the Heisenberg uncertainty relation in the in quantum mechanics, and then we will be discussing how this Heisenberg uncertainty relation it is used in the Gaussian wave packet. Thank you.